In this segment of the training, we're going to talk about the electrical supply to these machines. There are some very common things amongst all wide format laminators that I'm going to point out, but if you do have to do troubleshooting, a wiring diagram is going to be quite handy. I can't say it too many times, we just want to make sure that we're practicing good safety whenever we're working on these machines. So whenever possible, you want to have the power and air removed, and also be mindful of the fact that some parts may be under spring tension. Now, we all know as technicians there's going to be times when you'll need to make an adjustment or test something while the machine is under power. So during those times, you need to use just an extra measure of safety and care, and also be mindful of anybody that might be working with you around the machine. We're looking at here a Falcon 60 Plus, and as far as the electrical supply system, it's going to start with where your power comes into the machine. So you're going to have some type of block where your service comes in. Most of these machines are going to run on 220, and it's single phase. I will say most, not all. But you can see after you come into your service block here, your AC splits off into a blue and a red, and then your main power switch on this unit is actually also a circuit breaker. Works the same exact way on the Orca. So when you energize the circuit breakers, you energize your heating circuits and your drive circuits and your safety circuits. Now, one thing that's unique about the Orcas and the Falcons is that they have a separate 24 volt power supply. That's going to provide the DC voltage that runs a lot of the subsystems and relays on the machine. So you've got main power coming in, circuit breakers, and a DC power supply to convert AC to DC. You also are going to have some fuses that run along the back side of the machine. Those usually have to do with the motor. They're actually kind of redundant on this. They've got motor fuses on the KBIC board and also on the back of the machine. On the Seal 600, you've got pretty much the same setup. You've got your service coming into this terminal block here, running through to the main power switch, which is in the door, and then circuit breakers for your 220. And then this board here is actually, it's a combined integrated board between your safety circuits, and it is also your 24 volt power supply that operates some of the subsystems within the machine. You do have one, on this particular unit, you do have one little fuse on that power supply board. Now we're looking at the inside of the Seal 62 Pro, and as we said, a lot of things in common here. You've got your main service coming in through your power switch, and then it's going to be distributed through the machine with circuit breakers. And then instead of a power supply on this one, Seal uses a transformer, and you can see all these different color wires are different voltages that come off of that transformer, and you can troubleshoot that if you're missing one of those voltages. Some of what you're going to see in the field as far as problems with your electrical system is going to be related to bad connections. So because these are high voltages and high amperage machines, if you get any loose connection, it's going to result in arcing and eventually losing power supply. So that's the most common thing. If your circuit breakers are tripping, you've got a short somewhere in the system, and it also could be related to bad connections where maybe a wire arced and came loose, and now it's touching the frame, just for example. So most of your power problems are going to be related to just bad connections with inside the machine. So if you take a close look at all of your line voltage wires, you may find a burnt one or shorted one. It is rare, but from time to time we do have problems with the actual line voltage coming into the machine. So if you're getting some strange results, you may want to take a close look at the power that's coming in. Not a common problem, but it has happened.